What's going on, people? It's your man, the YB, back once again. So, we got some breaking news for you, man, regarding Martin the Buck Bakole. That should really be his middle name. What even is Martin the Buck Bakole's middle name? We don't know, that's a problem. Yeah, you best believe all the off-key white man out there who are into them things, the cupboard things, sitting in the cupboard watching the misses. If they imagine that fight's announced, Martin the Buck Bakole, you can bring a whole bag of fans in to watch that one. You know that, people. The whole crowd will be full of man with their misses there. No doubt. That's what you call marketing. Know your market. Know your consumer. Yeah? They want to see the buck. If they interviewed fans in the crowd before, when they're going into the stadium and said, "Oh, what are you here for?" You wouldn't hear no one talking. Let's say Bakole was fighting AJ. Well, tell a lie. They'd be there for both of the bucks, but the point I'm making is, they'll tell you straight, I'm here for the buck, Bakole. Anyway, listen. Nothing to do with what I said is relevant here, but let's get to the chase here. We got some leaked news, like I said. Breaking leaked news. Fresh off the press. Ben Shalom has said Bakole versus Zhang will now happen next after his turbulency halal sheikh called for the heavyweight fight. And this was on Talk Sport apparently. So that's pretty official, man. In my opinion, I'm taking it. Well, you've seen the title and you've seen the thumbnail. We're running with this one. I do feel sorry and I'm a bit surprised about Turkey, to be honest, because look at AJ's run-up. And really, that's how you know AJ is Turkey's number one, kind of. That's the guy you want to fly out the most. Why do I say this? How do we know this? AJ is actually the most experienced heavyweight. I'd say AJ is more experienced than Fury. Why? He's had a diversity and consistent level of top fights. Fury's fought... Who's a top level that Fury's fought? Vlad 10 years ago. And then Wilder. He's only had 2 top-level fights his whole career. And the Vlad was 10 years ago. Yes, AJ's fallen off recently, but there's an argument that all the fighters that AJ fights, they're all the Chisora level. Or higher. Do you know what I'm saying? If you think about, maybe even better, that Franklin guy, Muffin Top, that wouldn't be a bad fight against Chisora, right? So they're all that kind of level. Or higher. Fury, on the other hand, he's got, who's he? I don't even know who he's fighting. A mixed martial arts fighter and going to life and death. So AJ's undoubtedly the most experienced, and yet he's given the easiest run. You got Wallin. In fact, AJ's, forget about Turkey for now. What's AJ's run been? Franklin Martin something, the soft guy, Muffin Top. You got Muffin Top. You got Bum Lenius on 2 days' notice. You got the wrestler, and then you got Wallin, and now you got Dubois. Okay, I'll give you Dubois. That's not happened yet though. You might get popped. If AJ gets popped against Dubois, then his run's been for nothing, essentially. What I don't understand is, yes, the Zhang fight is big. It's not big though. Yes, don't get me wrong. I'm being a bit of a hypocrite here. We always ask for the big fights, right? We always want them. But Bakole, he has, I think he's quite young allegedly. He probably is about 40 years old. If I'm honest, I think they say he's 29 or something. Let's have a look. Bakole ain't nowhere near young 30s. Yeah? Generically, the African phenotype, it ages slower. So if Bakole looks to me like he's about 35 years old now, let's be honest here. He looks, if you saw Martin Bakole, you'd assume he's about 35. Look at this guy here. Come on, man. You can see the puffy cheeks. Yeah? The puffy cheeks. Relevance? No one can look at this picture and tell me this guy is like 29, which he would have been at the time of this photo. Do you understand? Let's have a look. Look at this guy, look. Come on, bro. That's a 35-year-old Congolese cat. Yeah, he looks young. If you didn't know him from Adam, you'd say, oh, he's probably 30, but no, he's about 40. He might even be older. If you found out that, if you looked at this picture and found out that guy's 42, you would not say that's a blatant lie. So he's definitely 40. Anyway, let's assume he is really 31. Yeah. What is the rush to put him in there with Zhang. And again, I'm being hypocritical. And if Bakole knocks out Zhang, it was all a great idea. If he doesn't know, there's so much more interesting fights. It's like Wilder, for example. I know the Desert Diddy, Turkey Halal Sheikh wanted to make AJ versus Wilder, but come on now. How can you give Wilder Zhang, or even Parker? But forget Parker. Wilder was supposed to smoke Parker. I lost money on that fight. Convinced he was going to get a knockout. And that's why it pisses me off, when you man tell me, oh, AB, you're a hater. Oh, AB, oh, you say everyone can't punch. No. I told you, man, Parker has zero chance he's getting knocked Spark out. So that's the problem I have. Don't let me bet money on this power, and then you do nothing at all, and then it's, oh, well, he did have power, but it disappeared. What's that cliche? Power's the last thing to go. So don't tell me that. He hasn't got power like that. Wilder can't punch like that. Who's he punched against? What? Fury, no chin. The man the wrestler not put down. The wrestler caught Fury. So don't tell me no more about Fury's chin or how it's a big triumph to put Fury down. Don't talk about that. Anyway, I've digressed. It's annoying that Wilder gets Zhang, and then AJ gets Wally and Ngannou. How that make sense? Bakole gets Zhang, and AJ gets... I'd argue that Zhang is definitely more dynamic. Zhang has the power. Yeah, Zhang is a better fighter than Dubois. The only thing that's critical now, Dubois has a better gas tank, and Dubois has a better engine. Zhang's only real flaw, the only thing Zhang's missing, surprisingly for his size, is not speed. He's super quick. What Zhang's missing is really the most irritating thing, cardio. There's no excuse to not have cardio. You have to be lazy to not have cardio. And he doesn't have cardio. But outside of that, he has speed, power, phenomenal boxing skills. He's got like an amateur quickness, and his fundamentals are solid, but yet he has a bang as well. But yet he has speed as well. But yet he's 290 pounds as well, 6'6", 6'7". Phenomenal. I guess you can also say Zhang's a bit long in the tooth. What's he, 42? So anyway, this fight is no doubt a great fight. But like I've been saying, and it's a shame really, we know all humans are, what's the word I'm looking for? All humans, they're suggestible. And I'm disappointed that someone in Bakole's team, well, Ben Shalom, I think, manages Bakole. And I'm not sure Ben Shalom, he top Shakel, right? He should have been grooming Turkey. He should have been suggesting to Turkey, go in there, Ben Shalom. That's meant to be your job. If I was promoting Bakole, I'd go in there and say, hey, listen, because all due respect, there's no point Zhang punching Bakole's head off at this point, right? Where's the benefit to Ben Shalom? Now, Ben Shalom probably thinks, yeah, he's definitely going to win, but the Zhang fight is the last fight you want to bet on your man definitely winning. There's not a heavyweight in the world today who you could say definitely he's going to win that fight. And it's not necessarily, it's entertaining from a big bull point of view. People, if you could pick two of the biggest bulls in the world right now in boxing, who would it be? It'd be Bakole and Zhang. They are the two biggest oafs. Yeah? You got the Chinese rhino and the African elephant. That's what this fight is. So, apart from that aspect of it being a spectacle, outside of that, there's no narrative. It's not going to be an entertaining build-up. Obviously, the fight's banging, but it's not going to have nothing else to it. And that fight could still wait there. Really, for me, I want to see Zhang versus Parker. I don't know why Zhang isn't pushing for that. In fact, Parker had a rematch clause. Zhang had a rematch clause. So, I don't know, maybe Zhang categorically has a rematch clause. Fact. So why wouldn't Zhang push for that rematch? That's an easy W to get. Or is it not? Or is Zhang shook by Parker? It's a bit weird, isn't it? Why would Zhang be happy with that loss? It's not like the Bakole fight. Listen, we all understand. If Zhang forgave the Parker rematch for instead like an AJ or a Usyk or a Fury fight, we all get that. That makes sense. But for Bakole, this showed one of two things. Zhang's slow and got dementia, or he just with the shits and he want the biggest bull going. Or maybe Turkey's paying him through the ear. Yeah, maybe Turkey said to Zhang, hey Zhang, I know you want that Joe Parker work, but I'm going to pay you big money because I want to watch you two big bulls in there, the Chinese bull versus the African rhino. That's what I want to see. which is probably more likely because this fight don't make no sense. Yeah, the person who makes this fight now is someone who's fascinated with the stature of men. That's my opinion, because Bakole needs to be built now. He's done some of the hard work, or he's bought enough. Bakole's bought enough credits now that he should get a put me on fight. AJ had 2 of the put me on fights. I wouldn't mind seeing. Let's throw the names out there now. Deontay Wilder. Yes, he's had more of the big fights. He's damn sure fought a bunch of bums. So he not so much relevant, but in terms of prospects for opponents, Wilder and Bakole are in the same mix. Wilder and Bakole would be a great fight. Let's get Bakole on, man. We'd all expect Bakole to knock or batter Wilder. Why not let him take that scalp? Let's build Bakole now. And if Bakole really is 30 years old, he's potentially got another 5-10 of his best years in the game. He could be up next. He could be the next African bull after AJ. And arguably at this point, he's shown more. He's shown more noddle. He's shown more go-getter. Yeah? Than AJ has, ever, if I'm honest. AJ weren't taking penitentiary chances this early on, if that makes sense. I guess you can say he fought Dillian Whyte, but come on, bro. Dillian Whyte's legs, they're bowed. Yeah? When you box, you ain't doing nothing if your legs are bowed, unless you're faffing around. If you're trying to whap, if you're trying to take a shot, it's no good having Bambi on ice legs. Dillian Whyte's legs are like this, like straight and locked out. There's no bend in his knee. No bend at all. Watch him get clipped by Fury. He goes down and his knees are bowing out. I'm trying to think how they bow out. His knees are almost inverted the other way. They bend, his knees bend like this, they go in. And his foot's hanging up here and his legs there. So he got bowed legs. Anyway, back to the point. Wilder and Bakole are in the same position. I wouldn't mind seeing them 2 fight. Or any of the following. Dillian Whyte. We know Bakole has a narrative. We know Wilder has a narrative with Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte's trying to get back on. That fight, bang! Let's build some momentum with Bakole. And Zhang's the bad guy to fight, if that makes sense. No one looks good against Zhang. So why would you put him in there with someone that, even if Bakole beats Zhang, it's going to be a 50-50 fight. And it's not going to be a knockout, in my opinion. Zhang's solid and massive. And he's smart enough, even if he's gassed and finished after 4 or 5 rounds, he's smart enough to negotiate the situation. He ain't sweet like that. So you got Bakole with all his momentum now, and you're rubbing it out for a fight. You're going to look under, in my opinion, of course, if Bakole smokes Zhang, it's going to be a massive thing. But if he doesn't, Bakole could still be wicked, yeah, and still underwhelm against Zhang. And that's my worry here. Who's looked good against Zhang? Parker looked good fanning about and got put down twice on the way there. Right? This is one of them fights where you can beat Zhang. Look at Hrgovic. I think Hrgovic lost, but Hrgovic beat Zhang and was on his ass, got his cherry popped. Parker beat Zhang on his ass, so it's not a fight you're going to look good in. Even if Bakole wins, he might have been put down twice. And then the whole narrative's kind of, it's not as shiny as it once was. So why not build this bull up? Yeah? Get him in there with Ngannou. Get him in there with Wilder. Get him in there with Dillian Whyte. Get him in there with, who else I've been thinking about? There's a few of them ones there. Joe Joyce, that's the other one. They've got beef. Joyce and Bakole have got beef. Yeah? So you got Bakole, Dillian Whyte, Ngannou. That's the real battle of the bucks. Battle of the African buck. Bakole versus Ngannou. Right? I don't know what Turkey on, man. He missed that one. But more importantly, Ben Shalom. You're supposed to be managing Bakole. And yes, Bakole's confident, but why now for? The UK is about to go into a recession within heavyweight boxing. You got Chisora knocking out top guys. You know, that's how down bad the game is like that. Even my countryman from the country of light skin, David Hay, yeah? My fellow countryman from the land of light skin, David Hay, he's SD. Yeah, you saw him get his feet out with Vlad. His toes were painted. And this was back 10 years ago when it wasn't even edgy to have painted toenails. David Hay been painting his toes. Yeah? He ain't like that. He's not. He's light skinned, I can tell you. Right? I can tell you that the psychology of a light skinned, and you ain't got it like that. You just haven't, inherently. There's something inherently coded into light skinned cats here that you can't have it. Because you don't even know what colour you're supposed to be. Yeah? How can you believe you got an identity, yeah, when you ain't even picked one? Oh, I'm white this day, I'm black this day, so forget about that, you can't fight. He smoked Chisora. Fury can't punch a lick. He smoked Chisora. And my doggy Joe Joyce in the mix got life and death 50%. Sorry. So that shows you Joe Joyce is old. Joe Joyce is long in the tooth. He was supposed to be up next in the UK. He got popped by Chisora. So we have a drought and we're going into a recession. After Fury and AJ have gone, we're in a big recession of UK boxing. And I'm disappointed with Shalong because this isn't even a money play. It's not like Bakole's essentially selling his ass to an AJ or a Fury. We'd all get that. And I think he probably... Again, this fight, Zhang is the hardest fight you can pick right now, in my opinion. Fact. It's the hardest fight. I ain't gonna lie, I've got Bakole smoking Tyson Fury at this point. Bakole would bash Fury all around the ring. For sure. Fury wouldn't know what to do when his feet run out of gas. AJ, I got Bakole too. Yeah, what's AJ going to do? Bakole's actually relatively old school. If you watch, in fact, Bakole's like the second half of his career, George Foreman. That's what he's like. He just posts up here. Bakole's actually got an old school style. Even I was watching the fight he lost, what's the guy's name? The one he lost against Hunter. And he was in the mix in that fight. Hunter's got a great chin. He was in the mix in that fight, just mixing it up. He's got that kind of loose style. And he's just down there, loose style, flat feet, and he's just looking to fight. So Bakole's actually, when I think of old school fighters, Usyk has an old school mentality. He doesn't have old school skills though. You don't see Usyk standing in the pocket and getting off. He's always pop, get off, or get out, sorry. Bakole actually has old school skills. So you've got this allegedly young talent and you're throwing him in there with Zhang. What's the best outcome here? The best outcome is you knock Zhang out. Wicked. Even then though, it's a niche win. There's an argument, I'd say, that what Bakole did to Jared Anderson would have as much draw as if he did it to Zhang. Zhang's not known like that. He's not known like that, although there's been speculation they're going to make this fight in China. That might be the play here. That'd be a massive fight. Especially Chinese cats, they love all them big things, them anime things, big warrior things. So they bring that big African bull over there, man. Damn, that'll be a big show for sure. You're going to have Chairman Mao, they'll be digging him up from the grave, I reckon, and posting him up there to watch this one. Yeah. You know, back in the 1800s, they'd bring these people who had diseases or whatever, they'd bring them to the circus and show you, man. That's what this is. This is a circus show. And on the down low, there's going to be a whole bag of down low cucked cats, yeah, who are going to be enjoying this one, licking their lips. Just watching it, watching all that weight in the ring, in the mix. Anyway, yeah, disappointed. I ain't going to lie. If you follow the channel for a while, you'll know that I'm never happy. There's always something wrong. You can never win, but nah, in the main, this fight's good. I just want to see... I guess I'm getting a bit nervous about the state of boxing. What happens when AJ and Fury go? How's the YB going to get his bread? Because you, man, ain't interested in watching nothing else. You don't want to hear no news about nothing else. So what happens when Fury and AJ go? The YB going to be off, for sure. So we need to build another one. And Bakole's got everything we need. In fact, he's a better talker than AJ was. I don't know what... AJ had some magic, man, essentially. I'm not going to lie. He had some cabal. Barry Hearns. The third magic there from Mandingo Room. Don't forget, people. What do we know about Barry Hearns the third? The little black book. That's what we know about Barry Hearns the third from Mandingo Room 1790. 1790. EST. Yeah, so when Barry Hearns III, when Lord Barry Hearns III picks the blower up and says, hey man, put this guy on. Change this guy's name. Change his name, Femi Okolunwunga, to Anthony Johnston. That's what you're going to do. We're going to give this guy a European, kind of, what do they call it, a European presentation. Because ain't no one really trying to watch Femi Okolunwunga, are they? They think, oh, that's off. Right, but in the UK, Anthony Johnston, bosh. What's that guy in the US, in the States, who was one of the first presidents or something? Was it Anthony Johnston? See, so it's got that kind of narrative in there. Yeah. Let's pitch the British public with one of their own, Anthony Johnston. You see that one? That's what Barry Hearns III from Mandingo Room 1790 EST was on. But outside of the marketing and the cabal pushing machine, there's no reason Bakole shouldn't be able to get there. If Bakole was able to fight Wallin and Ngannou, right? Why are they throwing him in there with Zhang? And these aren't. None of us are saying that Bakole should get an easy fight. You would never hear me. And that's what's quite shocking about AJ, really. Why did he get the Wallin fight? That's a sweet fight. Yeah, that's a sweet fight. He's sweet. Wallin's sweet. That's what I know for sure. He can't punch a lick. Why did he get that? The man with the most experience. Why did he get the sweet fight? And he had sweet fights. Had a bunch of them. He fought Franklin. He fought Bum Lennis on 2 days' notice. He fought Wallin. How he getting all the put-ons? Why are they putting on a guy who's supposed to be three time, but you can't put Bakole on? You can't set him up with the alley-oop, right? He need the alley-oop right now. Yeah, he just smoked Anderson and level up from that and some clout. Dillian Whyte, Wilder, Ngannou, Joe Joyce. Those are the three that should be. What's getting to me at the moment is I'm not hearing no one mention these guys. Okay, let's say Wilder has retired. Okay, I guess Ngannou's back to the UFC. AJ's punched Ngannou back to rolling on the floor. That's what he done right now. But you still got Dillian Whyte and Joe Joyce. Dillian Whyte was fighting. Where was he fighting? At York Hall? Dillian Whyte was fighting at York Hall versus I don't know who. Christian Hammer. Put him on. He said he wants to come back. Yeah. Now Dillian Whyte is a bit bulbous. He hasn't got the bull, the out and out bull look to him. He's not 260 pounds lean. Dillian's probably really a cruiserweight. If Dillian leaned out, he'd be a cruiserweight, I reckon. If you look at pictures from Dillian Whyte 10 years ago, before he started making money, when Dillian Whyte was living off rice, he was lean. You wouldn't believe it. Bone dry lean. So he's probably a cruiserweight. If Dillian Whyte boiled down and lost water weight, he'd certainly started at cruiserweight in his career. He's not dense like that. He's soft. He 250 soft. Do you understand? Anyway, bottom line is the fight's good. In the short term, this fight is great, in fact. It's the long term I'm worried about. If, for example, let's say Zhang clips Bakole. Yes, Zhang's mystery builds, but in a sense, Zhang's 50 years old. He's long in the tooth now. And also, Zhang's inconsistent. People say Bakole's inconsistent. I've actually watched the Hunter fight back. The Hunter fight was close, and Bakole was doing bits in that fight. To be fair to him, it wasn't how I remember it. I thought Bakole just got washed and quit. It was a good fight. I had Bakole winning it, to be honest, until his shoulder popped out. So Zhang is super inconsistent. He looks great, or he just falls off, or he runs out of gas. Even against Wilder, he was falling off. The first few rounds was phenomenal, and then he must run out of gas. He gets tired. And I've heard Zhang's lazy. Zhang's very lazy. His trainer said that. Oh, we didn't. What the Parker fight? Oh, we didn't train for that. I was like, bro, how can you have an athlete and not train? What the fuck are you doing all day? Isn't that mad? How can you be an athlete or have an athlete and you ain't training? What the fuck are you doing then? Because it's not like these men are working a 9 to 5. What was Zhang doing? Wanking off. That's the implication here. You're a professional athlete and you lost the fight because you weren't trained. What the fuck you been doing then? Watching TV and wanking off. That's what he was doing. Call me a liar. Because you ain't got nothing else to be doing like that. Anyway, people, let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe, like off the bell, 100%. There's no doubt about this one, people. Stop it.